What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? All right, just making sure everything's working because we still are in Mercury retrograde for like one more day. Just one more day. All right, let me just double check everything really quick. Let me know if you guys are here. Let me make sure I put this on public. Yeah, it's on. Okay. Okay. But anyway, so what's up, everybody? I'm April with astrolada.com. Happy Friday. I'm here to do my weekly horoscope / coffee talk. So I am going to go over the astrological events from one week to the next. So I'm doing from August 17th through August 24th of 2018. And then in the end, we go over a celebrity birth chart or celebrity couple so we can learn a little bit more about astrology and how it works in real time by looking at real people who have natal charts. So, okay. All right. It looks like everything is rolling now. What's up, everybody? What's up, Monifa, Art, everybody? How are you guys doing? Hope everybody is still doing okay. We are 1 week out from the last eclipse, which is the last eclipse of 2018 in Leo. So hope everybody's surviving okay. I know there's still a little bit of like crazy energy in the air right now, especially with all of the other planets that are in retrograde too. Hey, what's up, Monique? What's up? Yeah, so there's still a lot of retrograde action going on. Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff. What about you guys? Let me know. I've seen a lot of like exposed stuff coming to light because Mercury is in a in a square aspect to Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is about like digging beneath the surface and uncovering hidden information and hidden secrets, and then Jupiter is like a projector. So we've had some people being called out, some things dug up, and then the square to Mercury and Leo. Mercury in Leo is a Mercury sign that can be kind of boastful and bragging and have like too big of an ego at times. And I've seen some people get their egos checked. Okay, I have seen some stuff. It's been crazy. So anyway, hope everybody's doing okay in the current energy. So let's just talk about what's going on. So we do have, we do have the sun switching signs this coming week into Virgo. I'm going to cover that next week, though. I'm going to cover the sun going into Virgo, like a horoscope for all signs. We have Mercury going direct on the 18th. Hallelujah. Okay. Mercury going direct on the 18th, but remember that it's still going to be in its shadow period until, I'm going to say like the 1st to 2nd week of September. So just make sure that, you're still taking the proper precautions with anything that Mercury rules, which is your communication, your driving, anything that you do with your hands, anything that you do with media, social media, any way that you communicate, not just like talking. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're keeping up with like the proper precautions for that. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Let me take a sip. Hopefully get rid of this like frog in my throat type of thing. Oh, and I have my Boss Lady cup again, you guys. I have a new cup. Actually, I'm going to show you guys next week. It'll go along with the theme of next week a little bit. But Boss Lady, yeah, she's still here. She's still here because we're still in Bossy Leo. Excuse me. Okay, just 1 second, guys. I'm gonna like try to clear my throat once and for all, so it'll help me to speak a little bit better. I'm gonna put you guys on mute. Hopefully it. Okay. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that because that wasn't cute. And Venus is in Libra right now. Venus in Libra is all about being cute and proper and prim and all that stuff. So I'm trying to tap into that energy. Oh, excuse me. I'm still lady, even though I'm going to be hacking up a lung. Oh, yeah, speaking of Venus in Libra, Venus is going to be in Libra and the sun is moving into Virgo. So that's why I'm trying to stick with the themes of the colors of those energies. So I'm rocking like another copper eye nude lip look with my makeup. Copper eye nude lip, okay? And also a nude shirt. Very Libra, very Virgo. I find that Virgo likes natural colors you can find in nature. And then Libra is all about like the non-threatening colors that are very neutral. Think Kim Kardashian. She's the ultimate Libra, and she's always, her whole aesthetic is nude and pink and blush and all that. So I'm trying to, stay with the theme. Anyhow. Okay. Oh yeah, Nicole, must be. Yeah, pink. The color pink I associate with Libra, but a certain shade of pink, like more the blush, or like a lot of beauty gurus say pinky nude. That's a total Libra color, the blush pinks and stuff. And then and like a light pastel pink, I think too, is very Libra as well. All right. Oh, thanks so much, Tamara. Thanks for coming through. And I saw Oche in the house. Have to say hello. Okay, guys. So let's get into it. What's going on this week? So we talked about Mercury going direct, still in shadow period for 2 weeks after, so don't jump for joy too hard, okay? And also, we have Jupiter and Neptune in a trine with one another, and it's going to be exact on August 19th. So I'm going to talk about that for every sign when I get to the signs. And I'm also going to talk about Saturn and Uranus trine for every sign as well. Okay, so but let's get into Jupiter and Neptune trine. So this is a very beautiful energy, I must say. Both are outer planets, and they can bring lots of what's the word I'm looking for? The term I'm looking for, like hopes and dreams. Like both of them rule like hopes, dreams, wishes, daydreams, things that you aspire to do, being inspired. They're both planets that can rule spirituality and beliefs and stuff in a sense. So when they're making this trine aspect, and they're both in water signs, water signs are very intuitive and spiritual within themselves and very creative. So number one, if you're a creative person, this trine aspect can work really well for you as far as creating some new things or performing. If you're like a performer, the sun will still be in Leo, the sign of the performer too, and having the courage and confidence to perform. And then also, Jupiter and Neptune are trine. So that's like lots of optimism, lots of faith and belief in what you can create. Neptune is like what goes on inside your mind and in your imagination and how you get that. But like there's other planets that have to be involved with Neptune for you to be able to get that stuff out. Otherwise, it'll just stay like up here. And it'll just remain a daydream and just, because if you know a lot of Neptunian people, meaning they have planets conjunct their Neptune in the first house, or they're Pisces or 12th house people, that's a very introverted energy. And it's introverted and imaginative, so there's a lot that they can create up here that goes on up here. But if they don't have other planets supporting them, like they're a little bit that rule like how we take action, like a Mars or even Venus to some degree, or Mercury, or maybe the sun, then a lot of that stuff can just like remain daydreams and ideas. So having Jupiter in an aspect is like blowing up Neptune, projecting Neptune out there. So it does have its perks. Like I said, if you're a creative person, or if you work in a field that revolves around spirituality, the creativity stuff is like, I would say, especially if you work in film or photography, work with imagery, creative images, then it's a really good week for your work. Also, let's see, if you work with maybe even the medical field, like the part of the medical field to where you have to be very in tune with your patients in a very sensitive and empathic way, this could be a good beneficial energy for you too, to kind of bring more of that out. Neptune is a planet of inspiration, but also of charity, being very selfless. So Jupiter is being very generous. So a lot of people may be very generous, extra generous and selfless this coming week, and donate more or want to, like, you know, do something that helps humanity or animals, probably more so animals. Neptune is associated with loving like animals and pets and stuff. So, you know, those are like a few things that this energy can be utilized for. Even though it's a trine aspect, there can be a downside to it, because sometimes trines can make things a little too easy flowing to where we can get kind of caught up in things and maybe lazy with things, not as cautious. So I would say Jupiter trine Neptune next week. Don't be too, that's what I'm looking for. No, Mercury retrograde needs to just go away. Okay. Don't be too, like, I guess, trusting of others, because Neptune does rule dissolvement of boundaries, and it can dissolve the boundaries between you and other people. And Jupiter is having a lot of faith and belief, but sometimes it's about leaping before you look and not really caring about the consequences, just like, oh, I'm sure everything will work out. I don't need to check over the details. Ooh, let's just jump and fly. So people may just jump and fly, and as a result of that, maybe Neptune can rule invasive things like invasion of privacy, invasion of, maybe you can overdo things, which is Jupiter, like overeat, overdrink, or something like that. Take a little too much of something in, and then Neptune is like something like that, causing an invasion within your body or dissolvement of your vitality, which means, like, you know, like if people drink too much, right? It can maybe cause people to drink too much, because Neptune does rule substances too. So maybe drinking too much, and then going woo, but then the next day or maybe for a few days after that, it's like, oh, here's the consequences of my vitality going, like, decreased. So there's a risk involved. Even with a trine, we always talk about how beautiful trines are, yay, but still, you know, I have to give both sides. I'm a seventh houser. That's what we do, okay? So, but it is a really beautiful aspect though. Monica, I love your input always, girl. She says, I have the Jupiter Neptune trine natally, so easy to meet the right people, but can sometimes not always put the effort in. Saturn is currently making sure I stay disciplined. I hear you on that. Arc says, Neptune is the higher vibration of Venus. Why are people with heavy Neptune always the least fortunate? That's a good question. You know what? I love that. I love studying stuff like that, like those parts of astrology. That's a really good question. Yeah, Neptune is a higher vibration of Venus, but none of the planets, even though we consider them to be benefics and positive and stuff, in my eyes and from what I've studied, like applying it to the real world and observing people, real people, all of them have their negative sides. You know what I'm saying? And Neptune can be just kind of not even, if Venus rules, like, okay, Venus rules money, right? And material things and preserving them and conserving them a lot of times. Venus can rule. And Neptune is like not giving one crap about anything in the material world at all. Just wanting to exist and float, you know? So I think that's wise because of what they individually represent. Because, like I said, Venus is material, you know? So Venusian people, like an abundance of Venusian energy, will care about the material world, will care about how they're going to get their next meal or how their bills are going to be paid, because it's like, oh no, I can't do without this stuff. But Neptune is more like, oh, I don't need any of that. Oh, that's why Neptune rules donating, giving away to charity. Go ahead, take whatever you want. And on a negative side, Neptune can rule theft. A hard aspect to Neptune can rule theft and robbery, because it's like a taking away of material things. I can go into a whole discussion about that, but that is such a good topic, Art. Thank you for presenting that question. But to try to keep it, I'll just leave it at that. That's my answer. That's my shortest answer. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so now let's talk about the Saturn and Uranus trine. So this is a really cool aspect too that can work pretty well for people, especially earth signs, because they are in earth signs, and especially when it comes to work. Because Saturn rules work. Saturn is in Capricorn, a sign of hard work, being a boss and everything. Business, big business is Saturn too, and Capricorn. And then Uranus is in Taurus, a sign that also is associated with work in a way. It's the money that you accumulate is ruled by Taurus and the material things and everything. So, and then we got to look at Saturn, which is laying the grounds down for something, securing it in place, and then building on top of it, right? And building thoroughly to make sure that it withstands the test of time, nature, any circumstance. That's what Saturn is concerned with. And then Uranus is about innovation, like the new things that could be invented, being original, like coming up with new things. It rules technology, social media, and like even gadgets, like creating technological gadgets so that we can all be connected to each other, because Uranus does rule like all of us as humanity as a whole. So those two working together, we may see some new developments this whole rest of the month. Actually, they're just in a really close aspect, starting this week that I'm covering. Excuse me. But they've already been in like closing in on each other like this, you know, as far as like their angle to each other. To get even more technical and nerdy, Uranus is at 2 degrees of Taurus, and Saturn is moving back to 2 degrees of Capricorn. It's retrograde, right? So the two are aspecting each other. So I think that what this can do, I may have already mentioned this last week. If I did, then forgive me if I'm repeating myself. But if Saturn is business and it's also father time, Uranus is technology. I did see the fact that at least I noticed that Facebook and Instagram updated their apps so that you can actually like see how much time you spend on them. If that isn't a Saturn and Uranus trine, I don't know what is, because it's father time working with technology. Okay, Saturn is all about, hey, get off that game, get off that app. You have important things to do. You have work to do. There's better things to do with your time, right? And Uranus is all about the being on the phone, the tablet, the whatever, the games, chatting with people. All of that is ruled by Uranus. I mean, chatting with people on utilizing technology and apps and stuff. That's what I mean. So they're working together. I was like, you see, we can see it out there in the world, but also we may see maybe some new developments when it comes to something to do with money or currency, like worldwide, internationally, or whatever. Something to do with money, currency, something updated with that, because Uranus can give updates and bring something new to the table with something that's already established and old, which is Saturn. And then both of the earth signs can rule money in a way, in their own ways, you know, making money, the preserving of money and stuff like that. So we may see something like that in the next couple of weeks while the aspect is really tight. This is good for businesses. Like if you want to start a business, for example, and you have an idea. Well, Saturn and Uranus are actually both retrograde. And retrogrades usually are not the best time to start something new, to be honest. But it could be like older ideas that you had maybe on the back burner that you just like, maybe you started something before. Now you can maybe revisit it with new eyes, you know, new ideas, and figure out how you can lay the foundation down for it to like, for this new thing to really last a long time and build upon it. So it can work for business too. I'm just trying to see something really quick on my ephemeris. Okay, so we could see maybe something old back from the past get a revamp. That can mean anything. That can mean something with technology, perhaps. some technology that is Taurus related, like maybe with food, maybe with music, maybe some other material thing that's important to us. So, or like a business, like big businesses and corporations, maybe they can get a revamp. They're going to be rebranding, re-imaging, stuff like that. And maybe to come up, be more up with the times, which Uranus rules being up with the times. So stuff like that we can see. Okay, and then on the 23rd, we have the sun moving into Virgo. So because I have a lot to cover with the other aspects, and also just being honest with you guys, with my peoples here. So when I was looking at all of the stuff that's coming up that's within this time period that I'm covering, the 17th to the 24th, at first I didn't really I didn't really see common, okay, this is Mercury retrograde in action here, missing a detail. I didn't see that the sun was going into Virgo. I was like, oh, there's no planetary ingresses. So you know what? For each sign, I'll cover these aspects. And then after I wrote everything out for the aspects for the signs, then I noticed, oh, you know what? The sun is going into Virgo. So I already did all this work. You know what? That's just been my life story with Mercury retrograde in my 10th house. Everything that I do that is work related, I've had to redo or scrap it completely. And I'm just like, you know what? Some stuff is waiting back there on the back burner because everything I've done, I swear there's like something that oh my God, I'm done with Mercury. How about you guys? Okay. All right. So now, what is that? What's that in the corner? I don't know. It's weirding me out though. Maybe it was my cup. I don't know. Yeah, it was my cup. Okay. Anyway, guys. Okay, so now let's get into the signs. So for each sign, I'm going to talk about the Saturn and Uranus trine and where that's in your chart, and then also the Neptune and Jupiter Neptune and Jupiter trine and where that is in your chart and how you can benefit it. And remember, this is based on your rising sign, your sun sign, or your moon sign. The rising will be the most accurate. The sun secondary. It'll be accurate too, and then the moon is more like a lighter perspective, like how you feel about things or just how you perceive things. Or if you're a Cancer and you're ruled by the moon, maybe this can affect you a little more. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So Aries people, this coming week, the Saturn and Uranus trine is between your 10th and your 2nd houses. So how you can benefit from this, Aries people, that is in regards to career. 10th house is career, 2nd house is how you earn your money. So these two can work together. So maybe you can come up with some brand new ideas of how to better make money. And it is actually career based. Because you know what? In the charts, those things are separate. Those sections of your chart are separate for a reason. Excuse me. It'll take me forever to explain why. So, but your career is not always like the only way that you can earn money. Okay, the 2nd house can show you earning money by also having little side jobs, little side businesses, selling things. Those are just little examples. And your career can still be like your career and like one source of income. You know what I'm saying? So the two are working together. So maybe for some of you guys, it can mean that something with your finances will change. Hopefully it's in a good way. And it's like you get a boost in your career, which is the 10th house, and it suddenly changes your income, which is the 2nd house. This could be just something that happens, or it could be like something that you initiate for yourself to like create that change. Saturn in the 10th, I know is tough though, like to build, like drill sergeant Saturn really puts you to work with building your career. So maybe if you've been working hard enough, maybe you'll be rewarded by an increase in your finances some kind of way, or you can come up with new innovative ideas to make money. And as a result, it can help to like boost your career some kind of way. So those two areas, career and money, are working together this coming week. So definitely take advantage, Aries people. And then Neptune and Jupiter, they're trine in your 8th house and your 12th house. Now the 8th house is resources that are joint, that are shared by you and other people. So that can mean like people that you live with. If you live with anybody, you pay bills with anybody. That can mean your spouse if you have one. Even if someone isn't your spouse, you guys pay bills together. That's 8th house stuff. So, and then the 12th house is, it's creativity in a way. There's a creativity aspect to that part of your chart. So it could be coming up with different streams of income, which the 8th house can roll to, not just other people, but it can mean like residual income, passive income that you create for yourself, which means like you create something once and then boom, like money just comes in. Okay, it just keeps coming in from it. And maybe with the 12th house being, there's creativity involved there. Maybe you can have some creative way that you come up with another source of income. So there is like a money thing here. I'm seeing a theme of money for Aries people. If you guys if you guys use your creativity, you can come up with ways to make more money. That's pretty much what I'm seeing for the most part. But also the 8th and the 12th are very emotional, and you know, the 12th house is spirituality, and the 8th house is the occult. It's also like what's deep back there in your mind, the things that you hide back there. And the 12th house can go like secrets and stuff too. So maybe there is something working together to like uncover some things that need to be uncovered within you internally, you know, some internal realizations about things that can help to boost you into more of a spiritual person. And they both also have to do with like sometimes like mental health too. And like, because the 8th house can be trauma, the 12th house can be also like the past, you know, reflecting back on like past things and victimization. So they're working together. So if you have anything like that has happened to you, maybe it can bring some healing, you know, because Jupiter and Neptune activated in water houses and water signs. Water energy is very healing. So maybe this can show a healing for some Aries people from like some past trauma. Okay, so next up is Taurus. So if you're a Taurus rising, sun, or moon, the Saturn-Uranus trine is really working well for you because this is in your element and Uranus is in your sign. So this is from your first, like your 9th house and your first house are working together. So for Taurus people, maybe that can mean that you have some sort of a grand opportunity that comes to you, and it gives you a lot of like optimism, you know, like a lot of belief in things happening that are good. And it could mean something that has to do with like broadening your horizon, so to speak, from traveling somewhere or having an opportunity to like work under somebody that you really respect and that can teach you a lot. And in return, it really affects you as a person, which is your first house. Like it brings some new awakenings about something, new awakenings based on like spiritual or religious beliefs. That can also be the 9th house, or just learning about the world is the 9th house. Seeing the world as belonging to you, not just your own little piece, you know, corner of the world, but like what else is out there. So something that makes you have a realization like, whoa, you know what? I'm a citizen of the planet. I'm not just a citizen of whatever little city or town or neighborhood I live in. And it really can, Uranus is a great awakener. And with it being in your sign, it can awaken something within you that's like really life-changing, you know? On a more, I guess you could say mundane level, it could just be maybe some of you guys have an opportunity to go back to school, you know, something like that comes up, and it'll be a lot of hard work, but it'll be worth it because it'll make some really profound changes within you as a person. So it could be like something like that, or like I said, travel, like a really big trip that you can set in, you know, set in stone, set in the ground to happen. And maybe it's something that's like a little bit more further down the line, like in time, because Saturn is about things that take time. So maybe it's like, okay, I'm gonna plan this trip, right? I just feel like spontaneously taking this trip. Uranus is spontaneous. I just want to spontaneously take this trip, and so I'm gonna plan it out, and I'm gonna plan it out for like a year and a half from now or something, you know, and it's gonna be really life changing. So maybe something like that for Tauruses, or it could just be like really big goals that you have too. Okay, so and then for Tauruses, the Neptune and Jupiter trine happening is between your 11th and 7th houses. So this can mean some kind of opportunity with like social networks and maybe like partnership, which is the seventh house. There's a partnership deal or opportunity that comes up as a result of like networking with people, which is the 11th house. Or maybe you have an opportunity to collaborate with someone one-to-one, which is the 7th house, and you can put it out there on the internet, which is the 11th house. That's a possibility too. Or maybe you just like meet the right people or network, 11th house, which can connect you to another person, which is the 7th house, one person, that can really enhance your life in some sort of way. That can mean career, that can mean anything. Or it could be maybe a relationship develops suddenly, and it's as a result of you networking or going out and socializing, or like from a friendship. So those are like a few different scenarios that can happen with the Neptune Jupiter trine. But remember, it's very creative energy. A lot of Tauruses are very creative because you're ruled by Venus. So definitely utilize it for your creative work if that applies to you. Okay, so Cancers. So if you're a Cancer rising, Cancer sun or moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine is between your 7th and 11th houses. So what this means is it's also like, oh, you know what? I skipped Gemini. Oh my God. Mercury, can you please move forward? I can't do this anymore. Jeez. All right, let's rewind it back, guys. Oh my God, it's always something the last 3 weeks, right? Jeez Louise. Okay. At least we have a good connection this week, though. Let's look at the bright side, okay? No, I'm sorry, Perla. We are on Gemini. I have to rewind it back because I almost skipped my Gemini people. Sorry, Geminis. Let's cover you guys right now, okay? So, Gemini, if you're a Gemini rising, a Gemini sun, or a Gemini moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine is going to be between your 8th and 12th houses. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Interesting. That's kind of like Aries with the other aspect. Okay. So for you guys, Saturn and Uranus working together. Saturn has you working hard on your 8th house stuff. For some Geminis, it's like some internal things that you're working on, maybe healing some past trauma. 8th house rules that stuff. And the 12th house is it's a house that can be about, well, there could be some negative things in there, like addictions and victimization, like victimhood. So maybe there's something that you're working on with that, there's some sudden insight into how you can heal from any past traumatic experiences, because Uranus can rule sudden insights into things. And also for Gemini people, this could be you guys also like maybe solidifying something, which is Saturn in the 8th house, that it can help you to like bring in some more money, and maybe it's like a creative thing. 12th house energy, once again, there's like a creative aspect to it. It's like arts, like the film and photography and video, like things that come from your imagination is 12th house. So maybe you guys like solidifying some sort of residual income, and it can be as a result of like a creative thing. Okay, sorry, my phone was distracting me. I'll push it away now. But I'm on Gemini, and you guys understand that because that's your life every day, all day, 24/7. Just being distracted by your phone. Okay, so 12th and 8th houses working together. Once again, it could be like healing from something, or it can mean solidifying something, working on some income that you can have you like long term, but it's like it has long term returns to you. Okay. And you know what? A lot of Geminis, I'm just being 100%, a lot of, especially risings, have been going through divorces, because Saturn in the 8th house can deal with the separation of assets and a separation of souls. So some of you guys may have been going through it with that, and maybe like with the trine to Uranus in the 12th, maybe that's a release from something, because the 12th house can be like a total release from the material world in some way. And then you've got Saturn that's working on some material things. But maybe it can be like, okay, I've been going through it, trying to get this divorce finalized. they're trying to say that I owe them money or assets, and it could be just like, okay, you're finally released from that burden or something. So there's several different things that can go on with that. For the Neptune and Jupiter trine, this is between your 10th and 6th houses. So Gemini, you're another sign that can have some really good things happening with work this coming week. So there could be some opportunities that come up. Jupiter, the planet of opportunity, in your 6th house, which is work, okay? And then Neptune is in your 10th house of career. So maybe they could be working together to open some doors, to dissolve some barriers down that were maybe blocking you from advancing within your job. And so for some of you Geminis, it could mean you find a new job or something along those lines. A new opportunity in an existing job, especially if you are a Gemini in a very creative career that's ruled by Neptune. As I mentioned earlier, that could be like film or anything that's visually creative art stuff, even music, dance. This is a really beneficial aspect for you guys, for Geminis. But yeah, or if you work like in the medical field or something like that, this is a really good aspect for you Geminis as well. But just in general, Geminis, there's good energy between your career house and your work house. Career and work can be two different things. The 6th house of work, that's your job duties you do every day. You're on the grind, you're in your routine, it's your schedule. Career is like, hi, my name is Gemini and I'm a blah, 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 blah. That's your title, is the 10th house. And so they're working together this week. So maybe something can happen that's good with work, like an opportunity there that can help with your title, which is the 10th house. So fingers crossed for you guys, Geminis. Okay, now we're on Cancer. So if you're a Cancer rising, Cancer sun or moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine is happening between your 7th and 11th houses, which are very social areas of life. 7th house is one-to-one communication, partnerships with people, and relationships too. And then the 11th house is like friends. It's also if you belong to any organizations, any networks of people. It's having like the support of groups of people, pretty much, is the 11th house. So that can mean like you know the right people. Like, okay, well, if we need, if I'm throwing an event and I need a DJ service, I have a friend who DJs. If I need a photographer, I have a friend who's a photographer. If I need a caterer, I have a friend who's in the food business. Like, it's like you have friends, like, you know, or what's the word? Acquaintances. You know people that are in like certain things that you can benefit from them in that way. If that makes sense. So there's those two areas are working together this week. And so if you are a Cancer and you're trying to have some sort of like a business deal go through, like meet the right people to be able to follow through with something, create something, some sort of an opportunity for a partnership or whatever, then yeah, yes, you have ethereal synchronicity links. Yeah, the links that you have to different people. That's the 11th house. So those are working together. So if you're a Cancer, you got any business, especially to do with social media or marketing or technology, this is a good week for you because you can meet the right people. Or this can mean like not even business. It can mean like a friendship, you know, like a relationship developing from a friendship. And it could be like something that's sudden, but it can last a long time. Okay. Now for Cancers, the Neptune and Jupiter trine is from your 9th and your 5th houses. So let's see, which one is it? Neptune is in your 9th house, Jupiter is in your 5th house. Okay. So Cancers with Jupiter in your 5th house alone, that's a really good time period for dating and having lots more like romantic fun in your life, or even hobbies. It doesn't have to involve other people, like you within yourself, a hobby that you have that you find to be super fun and just makes you like feel alive, you know, that's Jupiter in the 5th house. So if you're especially a Cancer who's very creative, or you're in a field that is, you know, involves showmanship. Oh my God, I hate Mercury. Okay. That involves showing off your creative talents or any type of talent. It doesn't have to be creative. this is going to be a really good week for you too, because of Jupiter being aspected by Neptune. Neptune is in the 9th house of optimism, faith, opportunity, meeting like guru type people that are in the same type of field that you are, and they know a lot. They're very knowledgeable and they can teach you a lot. So maybe like finding somebody that can help to teach you something in regards to like a skill, like a hobby, or like something that you can, oh my God, I can't talk. Oh my God. A talent that you have. So a guru, 9th house, talent, 5th house, those areas working together. Or it could be something involving you take a trip, or planning a trip, and it can be very romantic with a romantic partner, because 5th house is romance and dating, 9th house is trips, faraway places. So it could be, and Jupiter rules trips too. So it could be like, okay, me and my boo are gonna plan a little getaway, and it could be by the ocean, which Neptune rules the ocean. So those are just a few suggestions. I'm so tongue-tied. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, so next up is Leo. So if you're a Leo rising, a Leo sun, or a Leo moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine is from your 6th house to your 10th house. So Leo, you're another sign that could have some pretty good luck with work this week, hopefully. And Saturn is in your 6th house. Saturn in the 6th house, ooh, that sounds a little stingy to me. Like Saturn in the 6th can be kind of stingy and extra stern and stiff, you know, like uptight a little bit. I know people who have Saturn in the 6th house and they can be very, very strict people. And then Uranus, though, is not very strict. It's like doing things random, very sudden or whatever. And Uranus is in your 10th house of career, right? Yeah. So for Leo people, you can have some sudden insight into things, some sudden ideas that can boost you into sudden like success within your career, the 10th house. And Saturn in your 6th house is helping you to lay down the foundation for it, and the rules and the schedule and all the details, which the 6th house rules all of that stuff. So it's like, okay, we have this new idea and it's dope, right? But we got to lay down the foundation. We have to be very, very thorough and have a really clear understanding of what everything is. That means like the good things, but also the consequences if something goes wrong. So we have to look at all of the like the routes to things and have a really good understanding of stuff before we proceed. But Uranus is like, okay, let's get it going with this new idea. So it could be something with that. Work and career are working together. And once again, work and career could be two different things. You can have a job, which is the 6th house, but is that really your career and your title, which is the 10th house? Those two are coming together. So hopefully that means maybe new job opportunities even for some Leos this coming week. And then the Neptune and Jupiter trine is between your 8th and your 4th houses for Leo people. So maybe that can mean something working together with 8th house. 8th house is it's money that you can receive, like you can inherit from people. It's also loans that you could be approved for, or credit cards, or any other like line of credit. It's also residual income, and meaning like you do something one time and you just keep collecting the checks, the checks just keep coming in. And 4th house is your family. Some of you Leos, actually, maybe you could, I'm not predicting anything scary or bad by saying this, okay? This could be something that's already happened, but maybe some of you guys could be receiving a nice inheritance from, maybe if you had a family member that passed on and you've already been working on the process of all the, their estate and who's gonna inherit what. Maybe something can come to like a conclusion this week, like, because the 4th house is your family, the 8th house could be like the benefits, So there's something with family and benefits that are working together, okay? Or the 8th house of benefits doesn't necessarily mean inheritances from people passing. It can also mean like insurance or something. Or maybe you create some sort of way that you can have the checks always rolling in, even with very little work that you do. And in return, it can help you to build something to really help out your household, like maybe to get a bitter, hopefully not bitter, no bitter roots over here, okay? Bigger house. Jupiter in the fourth can sometimes mean people moving to a bigger home, expanding their home or expanding their family. So there's something that can be working together with that. And eighth house. Or maybe your spouse, eighth house can be your spouse's money. Maybe they get an increase, or there's something that happens with their part of the bargain, their part of the deal with bringing money in, that's positive, and as a result, it affects your family, which is like, hey, now we have more money to go on vacations or to do this or do that. Okay, so that's for Leo people. So Virgo people, if you're a Virgo rising, Virgo moon, Virgo sun, the Saturn and Uranus trine is working really well for you because this is in your elements. It's earth elements. It's your two fellow earth signs, okay? So Saturn's in your fifth house, and Uranus is in your ninth house. So the fifth and the ninth. So you're another sign, Virgo, that could maybe have something go pretty well for you as far as like a talent that you have, which is the fifth house. Saturn in the fifth in itself is working on some sort of talent and turning it into a business perhaps, or really working on it very hard to where you are super confident in it. Because Saturn can tell you a lot of times you're not good enough, or you need to do it over again. You need to keep, oh no, that's not good. You need to scrap it and repeat. Scrap it, come back and redo. Saturn can be like that. But it's to encourage you to like really hone in on your skills, on your talent, And then ninth house energy, as I mentioned for one of the other signs, is like a guru, like somebody that's an expert in something, and you really look up to their teachings of whatever it is that you're interested in. So those two areas are working together. And also the ninth house is, once again, looking at life from a really optimistic point of view and not like a Debbie Downer, like, oh, this will never happen for me. It's the opposite. It's like, oh yeah, anything's possible, honey. Anything I want to happen is possible. That's the ninth house. So those two areas are working together. Some possibilities, some opportunities, and some creative talent stuff, or just talent in general. It doesn't have to be art or anything. Some talents, helping you out in that area. Let me see. Excuse me. The Neptune and Jupiter trine is between your seventh and third houses for Virgo people. So these are social areas of your life. Neptune in the seventh house, that's relationships or like partnering with people one-to-one. And the third house is communication, like the way that you communicate. Excuse me. And so these two are working together. And Neptune and Jupiter are pretty like, excuse me, oh my gosh, I'm just having all kinds of issues today. Mercury is like slowing down, like sitting right now, like sitting, and he's wonky, and it's just, oh my God. So I'm sorry. So the third house is communication, and it's also skills of your hands. Skills of the hands. So you got something activating skills of the hands. You got something activating talent and confidence and courage to put out your talent and express it and show it. And then you've got like a partnership thing going on, maybe partnering with somebody one-to-one, and then you've got like a possible guru thing happening. So I see for Virgo people, if you are really trying to learn how to do something, hone in on your skills, make them better, good enough for you to actually put them out there and have like a solid, like a business or job, or just have things work out for you long term, then this is definitely a good week for that. Seventh and third houses could mean like maybe communication can improve between you and a relationship partner this coming week, with those two places being activated. And oh my gosh, somebody's name is Boss Lady in here. Oh my gosh, this cup is for you, Boss Lady. Hello. Yeah, so anyhow, this could be the communication improving between yourself and others in general. Like maybe like a, just something improving there. What else with the seventh and the third house is, that's pretty much it. Excuse me, I have to get through all the signs, so I gotta, chop it a little bit. Okay, so Libra, if you're a Libra rising, a Libra sun, or Libra moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine are working for you in your fourth and eighth houses. So Libras have Saturn in the fourth house right now, which can be a little difficult, but maybe it's like you're learning how to, maybe some Libras are learning how to live completely on their own for once in their lives. Or maybe they're building and working towards owning a house for the first time. Maybe not like living alone, you know, for the first time, but like maybe becoming a first-time homeowner, or some kind of hard work involved with getting a comfortable place of living is the fourth, Saturn in the fourth house. Or maybe you've been taking care of like an elderly family member, or like some sort of family situation where you had to take in responsibilities that are major to do with family. And then Uranus is in your eighth house. So you're another sign, Libra, which once again, and knock on wood, I'm not trying to predict anything bad happening to anybody, especially not with families, but the eighth house can be benefiting from an inheritance, and the fourth house is family. And I know a lot of times people do have Saturn transiting their fourth, they do take care of like an elderly family member or something. So maybe there could be something that's worked out to where maybe you've already been working on, like, okay, like benefiting from an inheritance, you know, so there's something working. These two areas of your life are working together this coming week. Or it could be like you suddenly, which is Uranus, come up with ideas for some sort of form of secondary income, and that can help to benefit your family situation or your home situation. Whether you live with people or you live alone and you're trying to like establish yourself as a homeowner, or with whatever your living situation is. So let's see, Neptune and Jupiter trine are between your sixth and your second houses for Libra people. So this is another thing that can be something to do with money and your job, because Neptune is in your sixth house of the work, the duties that you do, the place that you go every day to go to work. And then the second house is how you earn your money. Jupiter is there. So for a lot of Libras, you should be receiving like an increase in pay, or trying to figure out how you can have an increase in your pay. Maybe there could be something that works together, like you get a new job, or you get like a pay raise or something, you know? So all of these important angles are being affected this week by positive aspects. Fourth, eighth, sixth, and second, yeah. So I would say that a lot of Libras are having maybe some improvement in their financial situations that can in return improve their home situation, okay? All right, so next up is Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio rising, sun, or moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine is between your third and your seventh houses. So you as well, Scorpio, just like Virgo, you guys can be having something going on in regards to communication within your relationship, improving perhaps, because Uranus is in your seventh house of relationships, and that can make things kind of wacky, to be honest, for Scorpios right now, especially Scorpio rising. And then the third house is communication, and Saturn is there, which is helping you to work. Wherever Saturn's at, it's just hear that Rihanna song in your head, work, okay? That's what's happening in that area of your life. So it is communication you guys are working on. And so it's sending a good aspect to your partnership house. So could be that, improving on communication with a business partner, or maybe developing a business partnership that is like media related, because the third house can deal with media stuff too. Communications, working in anything communications related. So something good can happen there. And then the Neptune and Jupiter trine is between your fifth house and your first house. So this is good. Fifth house is romantic relationships, or the romance within an existing relationship. Fifth house is also children, and it's also creativity, and it's also any talent that you have. First house is you, okay? Jupiter in the first house in itself, Scorpio, is like you working on opportunities to advance in life and just be your best self, or like that song, living your best life, that saying, living your best life. Jupiter rules that saying, I'm living my best life. Woo, life is awesome. That's Jupiter. So it's working together with a creative planet in a creative house. So maybe if you're a Scorpio that has a career that involves lots of creativity, this could be a really beneficial week for you, especially. But even if you're not in that type of a field or whatever, this can be just whatever lights up your heart and makes you feel like you really are living. So I see a lot of stuff mainly based around like maybe relationships for Scorpios this coming week is the vibe I'm getting, that the romance can increase, the relationship can be improved, and in return you feel good, you know, and then the communication, did I say the communication improves already? Whatever, I don't know, sorry. But there could be some improvements within your relationship, the romance, the spark, you know, there's maybe an opportunity to bring that back if you work on that stuff. And for some of you guys, if you don't have any type of relationship with someone, it is just you believing in yourself with like your talents that you have and being able to put them out there. And maybe as a result, you can have like some great work that is created. And maybe it could be as a result of also like you partnering with someone that can help you to come up with like new creative ideas, which is Uranus in the 7th house. Okay, so that's for Scorpio. So for Saggies, the Saturn and Uranus trine is between your 2nd and 6th houses. So for you guys, there could be some work stuff that's changing this week too, or that's has some sudden opportunities or something that comes up. So Saturn is in your 2nd house, which I know he's been stingy with the coin, Sagittarius. We could talk about that for a long time, okay? Saturn is kind of a stingy planet wherever he transits, and he's been holding on to all the coins and like, no, Sagittarius, you can't go put these in the casino machines, okay? You can't throw them on the tables at the casino right now. You can't throw them in the air and say, woo, you're not allowed to do that right now, Sag. So he's working together with Uranus in your 6th house of the job and the work. So maybe there's something like that suddenly changes with your work, suddenly changes with the job situation, and in return affects the money that you earn. So you guys are another sign that could maybe be getting a pay increase, maybe finding a new job that has better pay. And with Saturn in the 2nd, that's like telling you, hey, you need to make sure that whatever you're doing to make money is benefiting you long term and not just in the moment. And I know, Saggies, you're the #1 sign that says in the moment, live in the moment, live in the moment. Well, in living in the moment, as far as money, Saturn is not allowing that, okay? Long term. So sudden job changes that could lead to maybe longer term or more income or something, okay? Now, Neptune and Jupiter trine, this is between your 4th house and your 12th house. This could be something to do with maybe the past and early childhood, maybe healing from something with that. That's what I see with that for you guys. And 4th and 12th houses too. Even though this is a trine, I'm going to give Saggies in particular a warning about your home, to protect your home. Because remember I said 12th house energy can sometimes mean like a dissolvement of boundaries between other people and you and your stuff. And this is making an aspect to your property and your home, which is the 4th house. And Neptune can rule dissolvement and like losing things too, and that's in your 4th house. So even though this is a beautiful aspect with many wonderful benefits, Sagittarians, step up the securities at your house, okay? Protect your vehicles too, because that can count as property and assets, all right? So next to this Capricorn, so if you're a Capri rising, sun or moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine, working good for you guys because Saturn is in your sign, hey, all right? Uranus is in a fellow earth sign, and both you and Uranus and Taurus are all about that, those coins, okay, that money, building wealth, okay? So in general, you guys can just be trying to come up with some really, or you can not even try, like Uranus is setting insights. You have sudden insights into how you can build things for the long term for your life in general. It doesn't always have to be money, even though these are money signs, but Saturn is in your sign working on you, okay? So these are working together. Now, the houses that they're in is Saturn in the 1st house, Uranus in your 5th house. So there could be some stuff that maybe 5th house is talents that you have, creativity, it's romantic relationships. Maybe some of you guys improve a romantic relationship and it really like just affects you in a way that's so positive that you're like, I really feel good about life right now. You know, kind of relieves a little bit of the stinginess of Saturn for a little bit. Because Uranus is about like, this is how I imagine the conversation between Saturn and Uranus. Okay, one of the conversations they could be having is Uranus is telling Saturn to loosen up. Don't be so uptight, Saturn. And Saturn's like, well, there's rules and there's consequences. And Uranus is like, why do we always have to stick to the rules? Why can't we create new rules, perhaps? And Saturn be like, okay, you said the word new, which I don't like, but you said the word rules, which I do like. So we can meet in the middle somehow. Okay, so that could be going on for you Cappies, just in general. Now, and it could be like you guys working on feeling more confident within yourself too. Okay, now Neptune and Jupiter trine, this is between your 3rd and 11th houses, communication, groups and networks, and having the homie hookup is the 11th house. So they're working together. And 3rd house could be media, typing, writing, whatever. 11th house could be social media and the internet and technology and stuff. So maybe you guys are working on something. Some of you Capricorns could be working on that. Also, maybe you can be, let's see, what else? 3rd and 11th houses. Yeah, so some Cappies, especially if you're like a writer or you do anything with communications at all, you can maybe find your work can find a really good home to where it's like, or find a good opportunity where it's like seen by a lot of people. 11th house was the masses of people. That's why we say the internet, because that's how the masses are usually reached nowadays. So if that does apply to you, Capricorn, just work really hard and maybe, you know, your work will be seen by everybody. 3rd and 11th houses too. I mean, it could just be like trying to improve your social life in general. You know, communicating with the right people that can get you to the right places and the right opportunities. That could be what's going on. And if you're an Aquarius, so if you're an Aquarius sun, rising moon, the Saturn-Uranus trine is between your 12th and your 4th houses. And this is working on maybe for you guys too, some past trauma, some childhood stuff, and really working together. Those energies are working together to maybe help you to heal from some stuff like that. Or maybe it's like you guys could be suddenly moving and you have to be like charitable and you have to like give some stuff away. And it's like working on like getting rid of old stuff that maybe harbors old memories from the past. And it, you know, there could be something involving that for Aquarians. And then the Neptune and Jupiter trine is from your 2nd to your 10th. So that's actually really good. 2nd house is the earned income, 10th house is career. Those two areas are working together. Maybe you're ready to do some blessings, maybe that are like sudden. There seem to be miracles. I've seen Jupiter and Neptune involved with like miracles that happen, mostly Jupiter though. So you can have some miraculous thing. Hopefully Aquarians happen between your money and your career, maybe a pay increase, maybe an opportunity that you can like jump and take. I feel like some of you guys could be doing something like relocating or moving, and then, but it's for the sake of a career or money situation. Okay, so last but not least is Pisces, and then I got only a couple minutes to go through this synastry, you guys. If you're Pisces rising, sun, or moon, the Saturn and Uranus trine are between your 11th and 3rd houses, which are very social areas. Pisces can be very introverted people, but this can help you to maybe work on getting out and communicating with people. Saturn in your 11th house, I will say this though, that's something that's making you guys really look at who your true friends really are versus who are acquaintances, and maybe building better networks of people around you that support you and that are like-minded. 3rd house is communication. So those two areas are working together. So you guys as well could be working on, there could be some sudden something with like communication or maybe media, and then like social media. that helps you to build something for the long term. And then Neptune and Jupiter trine, this works out really good for you, Pisces, because Neptune's in your sign, Jupiter's in a fellow water sign. Jupiter in the ninth is all about opportunity for like advancing just in life in general. And it's all perspective, like looking at life from a different perspective of like, oh yeah, this can happen. I believe this can happen. Instead of being like, oh, I don't think things can ever happen for me. I'll just drown here. You know, Pisces, come on, I'm a Pisces moon. Okay, so I know how we can get sometimes. You know how we do on the negative side. But this is helping us, Jupiter in the ninth is helping us to see life has endless possibilities. So it's making an aspect to Neptune, which is your ruling planet in your sign. So it's just maybe just a boost in optimism this coming week. And that could lead to so many different things, So I see this as a really good week for you guys to advance yourself in whatever it is that you do. And it could be by talking to and meeting the right people as well. So keep yourself open to that, Pisces. Okay, guys, so that was the horoscope for the week. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Had a really good turnout, so that's pretty cool. If you're leaving right now because you don't really care about celebrity charts, I appreciate you. Peace out. Don't forget that I do personal readings on astrolada.com. The info is below. And also I have webinars here on Astrolada. The Uranus, we were talking about Uranus now. Uranus is going to be in Taurus until 2026. So if you want to know overall how that affects you, the webinar that Lada and I have, the link is below. Also, we're talking about Saturn, and Saturn rules career. Capricorn rules career as well. It can rule career. So the webinar that I did with Lada last year about career, how to find your career in your chart. And I did talk a little bit about that in horoscope too, like your career, your money, and your job can all be different things. How can you make them all work together? Okay. So there's some tips in that webinar too, so go check that out. All right, so now let's get into the coffee talk. I literally have like a few minutes. So hopefully I don't like scoot in and you guys see like my big giant head like all on the screen this time like I did last week. Okay, so somebody asked me, I'm taking a viewer request. I'm looking at Bella Hadid and The Weeknd because The Weeknd, if you don't know who that is, that's a singer. Excuse me. He's a singer, and Bella Hadid is a model. And I know some people are like, boo, who cares? Blah. Some people care about this stuff, okay? Shut your mouth. So they used to date a couple years ago, and they were going pretty strong, and then they broke up. And then he started dating Selena Gomez. And then he and Selena broke up. And then he was seen like right after the breakup, creeping outside of Bella Hadid, his then ex's house. People were like, okay, running back to what's familiar. Okay, all right. And then so they've been spotted at events, I think Coachella, and then now I maybe the Teen Choice Awards. I don't know, one of those current like award shows or events or something that just happened very recently. They were spotted together there as well. So they're leaving people like, like curious, are you guys back together or what? So as a viewer request, I'm going to look at their synastry really quick and we'll see what, I think I've looked at them as a couple before. I think I have looked at them as a couple before, but let's look at like, are they together? We'll see what astrology has to say about that, okay? And see what we see. Okay, guys, so I just literally have a couple minutes, so I might talk kind of fast, and because Mercury is still technically retrograde, I might kind of stutter or something. I will really try hard not to though, but please forgive me in advance if any stupidity like that happens, okay? All right. Okay, so screen share. All right, guys, so here is the chart of The Weeknd. So he is a pop music singer or R&B singer. Okay, so The Weeknd. Here is his chart. Now, I don't know if this birth time is correct. This is an estimated birth time based on my observations of him from being a super mega fan for the past 8 years. So I believe he's either a Cancer rising or a Scorpio rising. I think I've done his chart before to like explain why. He definitely has a Cancer vibe and a Scorpio vibe. He has a Scorpio moon, excuse me, and he has a total like Cancer, like he just screams Cancer, okay, in a lot of ways. So I believe him to be an 8th house sun as well. He's got a very Scorpionic vibe. So anyway, he's an Aquarius. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's been going on for Aquarius is we just had, we've had all these eclipses that have been happening in Aquarius, like full moon eclipses in Aquarius. That's the sun or moon in your sign, and then a sun or moon in your opposite sign too. So it's like a decision between you and others. So just based on his sun sign alone, we can see that he's definitely, since 2017, been going through some really major relationship changes. So we just had an eclipse in Leo opposing his sun in Aquarius, and that was on August 11th. And before that, July 27th, we had an eclipse, a full moon eclipse in Aquarius. So Aquarius moon versus Leo sun. So, that means that's relationship stuff right there. And this is also a reverse nodal return for him. He has a north node and south node natally in Aquarius and Leo. And a lot of times when people have a reverse nodal return, that could be an exiting of a relationship or someone really important in your life, or an entering. I've seen it be both for people, especially at this age, at age 28, your Saturn return too. A lot of people, they like really have a different perspective on relationships during this time because of Saturn and because of the reverse nodal return. So do I think based on that they're like getting back together? Based on his chart, I think, yeah, but because he's a Scorpio moon conjunct Pluto, he's like super low key about stuff. I think he's learned his lesson to maybe try and keep his relationships out of the spotlight. And that could be a lesson of his Saturn return as well, because I believe he could be a Cancer rising if he indeed is. Saturn is in the sign of his 7th house. So maybe he's learning with relationships. That could be like his biggest lesson. Like, don't make them so public. Be a little more low key. Okay. So just making sure I'm still here. Now let's look at Bella's chart. So Bella is a Libra sun. I believe her to be a Capricorn rising. She has the cheekbones. Okay. She's got like mad cheekbones. Okay. So I think she's a Capricorn rising, but once again, this is not confirmed. And plus she has like she's got the RBF thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like the resting bee face. She's got that popping off. So she's definitely got like maybe some 8th house, some Scorpio, or some Capricorn or 10th house going on in her chart. I can see it like all in her face. So anyway, if she is a Capricorn rising, like I suspect she could be, well, there was an eclipse in Cancer also in July, and that could be in her 7th house. So that could have something to do with a relationship, like opening the door to a new one or something, you know. And this could be like, I know it's not necessarily new. It could be, and Mercury's retrograde right now, you guys. Mercury retrograde. So that's like, that could be for her. That could be possibly her 8th house, or 7th house. What is this? Oh, yeah, Cappy rising. Yeah, it could possibly be her 8th house, Mercury retrograde there, which could mean returning to an old intimate relationship. Based on her sun sign Libra, there's a chance this is not her ascendant. Opposing Libra is Aries. That's her. Okay, what's her 5th house then? Oh, 5th house for Libra is Aquarius. Dun, dun, dun. I think that's the key there, you guys. We just had an eclipse in Aquarius. That's 5th house for Libra. You can look at the sun sign as clues into relationship stuff too. So there was an eclipse in her 5th. And for him, as an Aquarius sun, that's his opposite, you know, his sign and the opposite. So I think there is some relationship developments for sure with them. And so it could be that, yeah, they're getting back together, or maybe they're just like enjoying each other's company. You never know. You never know. So that's the deepest look that I can take into this relationship right now, you guys. I have to dip out. I got to go pick up a munchkin from school. Maybe if you guys are interested in their actual synastry one day, like what makes them like each other, then let me know and maybe I can do that another time and just like kind of go in detail of like what's the attraction between them. Okay. All right. Stop presenting. Okay. All right, guys. So that's it for this week. Have a really good weekend. Have a really awesome week ahead with all these trines. I hope they bring beautiful things to you guys. But remember, trines don't always mean everything is magical and beautiful. Okay. So definitely still protect yourself. Boundaries, there could be like a dissolvement of boundaries or crossing of boundaries a little more easily with some of this week's aspects. So keep that in mind too. And next week, we'll talk about the sun going into Virgo and we'll talk about the full moon in Pisces. All right. So peace out, you guys. Much love to you. Don't forget, hit me up on astrolada.com for a personal reading for me to look at anything in detail for you guys. Okay. Oh, and also on that note, I will be changing my services on the Astrolada page very soon. There's some things I'll definitely be making some shifts there. And there's some readings that I will possibly be getting rid of on there. So if you want an opportunity for a reading with me, I have a full menu, but I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of the menu though. But if you still want to take advantage of what's still there, then make sure you hit me up for a reading. All right. Peace out, guys. Much love. See you next week.